Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Brandon with the Charter Authority. Thank you for joining us today. This is our June monthly call for assessment and accountability. Looks like a pretty small group here today. I know that a lot of you are, or a lot of schools are on vacation. We are recording this, so we'll send out the link and presentation after the meeting within a couple days here. So there are some introductions. I think I see most of you on the call probably already know us. There's our team contact information if you need that. And let's hop right into the agenda for today. There's a lot going on, but not too many slides to go through, so I anticipate this will be relatively short. For assessments, we do have some updates about the calendar for next year, if you haven't seen that already. Just some updates on fall deadlines in Epicenter. And then we have some specific assessment information. And for accountability, as I'm sure you all are aware, there's a bunch of ongoing data collections that we'll kind of breeze through. Hopefully there's enough guidance and such in previous calls and also in Epicenter. Don't want to dwell too much on that. And we have some other updates and resources. I think Mary was unable to join today, so I'll do the assessment area. So the 24-25 calendar was released for state assessments by the Nevada Department of Education. We did provide that to our contact list early in June. We will send it out again with this with the call information or attach it to the Canvas page as well. There's really no major changes. I think the SBAC and science windows ended about the same time as they did this past year. They might start like a week later or so, but generally the dates are about the same. Same goes for ACT. It's late in February. The kindergarten entry assessment, we did get a bunch of questions about this because I think people were under the impression last year that we got a waiver that MAP was allowed to be used instead of Brigance. There is no waiver that we've requested. There is Nevada Administrative Code, NAC, or regulations that say MAP reading or Brigances can be used. I think NDE has just kind of said in the past that Brigance should have been used, and then that contract ended with Brigance through NDE, and now there's just some confusion about what should be used. It can be MAP reading or Brigance. The only thing is it needs to be MAP reading, obviously, and that's provided in a fall administration to kinder, where usually you're giving MAP growth to kindergartners twice a year. This would just be an additional administration for the kindergarten entry assessment. So the MAP growth reading on the last part there, dates are about the same. Moving to NA, dates are about the same again. Same for WIDA. And then CTE and NAEP, don't really need to get into that right now.
Hi, Brandon.
Hey, sorry. Go for
Apologies
it
for
if
being
you,
late.
no worries.
So thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. So we have a couple upcoming deadlines. These are just coming up in like the next month and a half, just kind of more of an awareness for you. So they're all in Epicenter, all kind of spelled out for you. Authorization, annual things, authorization to administer tests, form submission. We've got some information about what that is supposed to look like. We are collecting again the state assessment testing calendar submissions. Just like last year, you may be receiving a visit from NDE. Don't know, but this also helps us and my Brandon and I, in case like once assessment season comes around, if you have questions, we roughly know who's testing when, kind of checking in on things of that nature. Assessment training and confidentiality certification, must do. Um, Test security plan submissions for to be collected by charter holders. So for instance, if you're a school that's part of a charter, but there's multiple campuses, we need one from just like the overall charter holder, excuse me, that encompasses all the campuses under that charter. Dural's a good one as an example. And then there's also the ones at the campus level. Doesn't apply if you're a single campus. So if you are a campus of one, great, you're gonna be looking at it from the charter holder's perspective. And if you are one of many under a charter, then you're going to be looking at it from the campus level.
Yeah, Mary, I'm just going to add that.
Yeah.
So the test security plans in prior years, for everyone on the call, in prior years, we just said, submit your test security plan. But NDE has really, now made the distinction that it needs to be a district test security plan. That is the requirement. And that needs to be approved by, for a local school district, it needs to be approved by the Board of Trustees. And for a charter school, it needs to be approved by the charter governing body. And they're really emphasizing that this district plan needs to cover all campuses under the charter. So just want to bring that to your attention because it is a little bit different this year. If you are a charter with multiple campuses, we're going to be collecting it for the charter holder overall for all campuses, and we're going to collect the campus level plans as well. And this isn't really different than last year, but I just want to emphasize this again because NDE has emphasized it. That district level plan, the charter holder plan, must be approved by the charter governing body. So that's kind of why we're giving you a heads up here, because you might need some time to get it prepared and on a board agenda to be approved.
And Brandon, we had a question. Is there a template for the charter holder level for the test security plan? Are you aware of one?
I don't think we have one. We can look for something like that or ask if
there's a
NDE
recommendation
has an
by
example
NDE.
from maybe like another district. The epicenter task, as well as the statute outlined in the task, outline what needs to be included in that plan. I think most of the campus level plans that were submitted in prior years met all those criteria. So I'm hoping it's going to be straightforward to do it for the charter holder as well, but we'll look into that. Good question.
Great question, Christine. Just an even more heads up, due in September, the annual provision of assessment whistleblower protection certification, making sure each charter holder must certify their governing body has provided the whistleblower protection information to staff. That is very vital and important. And also written test security notice certification. I personally think this goes hand in hand with the training, making sure that the governing body has provided specific written notice regarding test security to staff. These are really big things because we've just had testing season. There have been some hiccups with test security, so this is very vital that all these certifications are being done and testing, training, and the like. But once again, just giving you a couple of these, the one that has to be approved on a board agenda, definitely getting that on the books for your board coming up, and just some other things coming up so you're not a surprise, especially once we get the school year running. Yeah, and if we hear of a template, we'll make sure to pass it on. Just a couple of reminder of dates. So WIDA access and the alternative assessment. So 6/11, there should be updated data posted in the WIDA AMS. So that should be available for you. 9/13, alternate access reports and data files should be available online, and then they should be available for print in October. Kind of giving you a heads up for what these things are. With the lovely state assessments that we've just had, you did receive an email from myself saying that the student data file should have posted into district level, should have posted into the Insight portal last Friday. If you are a school, if you're an individual campus, but you have like a larger charter holder, like one of the Doral campuses, if you will, just give an example, you will need to talk to the central office district person, because not every school testing coordinator will have access to the district reports just due to those levels and those permissions. I did have that question. So all of those should be, the district level information should be available and already. Student and roster reports are coming up in August on the 7th, and the printed should be available August 21st. And then the NDE files used in SPF hopefully should be available mid to late July. Brandon and I will have those posted to Bighorn for schools when those are available for that.
I'm just going to add one thing
Yeah.
on those district data files that are posted to the DRC portal. We should have put this on the slide. Maybe we can put it before we post it, but you have to
All the steps.
unselect the school. So like
Right.
make sure just the district is selected and not any school, because it's a district level. And if you choose a school, it's not going to show anything. So it's kind of confusing and not very intuitive when you're trying to access that data file, because I think it auto populates a school usually.
I will confirm that it does, especially if it's just a one campus charter. So yeah, just make sure not to click on the school, make sure it just says your district. Because otherwise you'll get a layout file instead of the actual report. Just a reminder that ACT data validation still coming soon. NDE receives the ACT file from the vendor in late June, hopefully coming up in the next week or so, and they'll have that open for validation in July. We're expecting it to be about 10 to 14 days, so please keep an eye out. We do have a Epicenter task to certify the validation due July 12th, but it may be moved, so just be aware and keep an eye on your emails when that should be coming up. And I think that was all we had.
I'm just going to add that there is that Epicenter deadline, so you might have been seeing that task. Unfortunately, it's not open yet in DVSL. I think we've been getting some questions about DVSL, I don't see ACT data in there. It's not open. We'll let you know when it is, because NDE just doesn't have the data yet.
Yeah. Once we know, we'll let you know. Trust me, I'll keep looking.
So I think that covers assessments. Thank you, Mary. So just a few accountability updates, deadlines. There are some past due data collections. I think we have a handful of schools that we're still missing for these. So if you haven't submitted those yet, please turn them in, because we do need all SPCSA schools files or data to be able to submit an aggregate file to the NDE. Some upcoming deadlines. I know a lot of schools have already submitted these, but just a reminder, if you are a high school or you have generally 12th graders, you need to submit the college and career ready CCR data collection. So this basically says, did students participate or complete, with NDE definitions about what participation and completion mean in AP, CTE, dual credit, that type of thing. So that's using the NSPF. It's very important to get that in. There are a couple NDE CTE data collections that are just used for reporting. It's not related to the star rating or anything, but for work-based learning and industry recognized credentials. So I think we set this up for all high schools, not knowing whether schools had offered these programs or not. So you might have to submit something saying, no, these are not applicable to our school. But if you do have them, there are some templates on those tasks to submit student data for that. There's an annual NDE firearms incidents data collection. I think usually this was collected. We typically collected this in the fall for the prior school year, and it didn't really make sense. So I moved it up so that it was sort of grouped with a bunch of other end of year data collections. This one's relatively straightforward. Most of our schools don't have any incidents. You just have to populate zeros in that template. It's very straightforward.
Can I make a comment for that one, Brandon, really quick,
Yeah.
due to the question that we had last week? So I received a question in regards to the firearms incident data collection, and it was about a school-sponsored event on non-school property. Remember? If that occurs, I think we decided to report it anyway, because technically if you have a school-sponsored event even if it's non-school property and that happens, it's technically school property because it's school-sponsored. Brandon, is that correct? I think that's what we said.
be safest to report it.
Right. So more caution, err on the side of caution, report it, and then if it becomes something that's not really needed, then that's you at least did your due diligence and reported it.
Okay, so those are the end of June deadlines, and then mid-July, unfortunately, there's just more and more that keeps coming. There's the NDE acing accountability data collections. We did all these sort of kind of on a weird timeline because of the way NDE rolled this out last year. I think some of it was collected in February or March, and now but that was for the 22-23 school year, and now they're trying to collect it for the 23-24 school year, which just ended, and trying to roll those data out for the fall reporting. So unfortunately, it's coming around. It came around again very quickly. But hopefully then now that you've done it once, it'll be relatively straightforward. There's the CCR enrollment data. So this is for high schools, obviously. The count of students enrolled in CCR areas, AP, dual credit, etc. And then there's the CCR proficiency data, which is the count of students that passed or earned credit in those areas as well. And then finally, there's the workforce data, which has a bunch of information about like substitute teachers and vacancies and things like that. So NDE just came out with the deadline for those acing accountability collections just about a week or two ago. So we did set tasks up in Epicenter to collect that. Other updates moving beyond the standard assessment and accountability. We did send a reminder about this summer EBT. So this is a program for eligible families to get summer food grocery benefits. There is some action needed ASAP. If generally, I think schools are staying up to date on keeping their FRL records in Infinite Campus up to date. But if you're not, please do that as soon as you can, including schools that are CEP. Maybe in the past, CEP schools haven't been entering direct certifications because it hasn't been required. But now NDE is saying, yes, you have to enter them for everybody so that we can pull that information and send it to DWSS and other state agencies so that they can implement those benefits. So this, as a reminder, it's only for schools that are offering national school lunch or breakfast programs. So also make sure that those boxes are checked in Infinite Campus if you are planning, or if your school is offering that program and you do want to get these benefits for your students. Last thing is just resources. We always show this in case you need it. We'll post this recording of this call to that Canvas page. We have the orientation and NSPF training and other training here that is from last fall or so. We're going to do these again early August or September. So we'll do that annual training again for those type of things. I think we're also going to have a sort of an Infinite Campus basics training. I think we're going to do that for our new schools, but probably I'm going to see if we can provide it to all of our other schools as well. Just sort of things that we've noticed on the assessment accountability team that are important for assessment accountability topics, such as like validation day or assessment data polls, pre-IDs that get sent to vendors. We'll try to cover some of the things that we've seen or have been issues in the past. There's our contact info, and we can take any questions.
Hi, Brandon. Sorry, this is Christine. Hi, Mary. Would you mind going back to slide 12 really quickly? So on the due July 19th, we have the CCR enrollment data and proficiency data. Is that the same thing as the ADAM 01?
No, it's not. So that the ADAM 01 is the one that's due June 28. It's the NSPF College and Career Ready data collection. It's extremely similar, but unfortunately the population that is collected is different. And so we've been trying to get NDE to consolidate everything into one thing that they can use for like with chronic absenteeism, it's used for multiple purposes. It's used for NSPF, state reporting, depending on the number of days a student's been enrolled. So we're trying to get them to do something similar with these CCR collections because they're very, very similar. They just have not considered that, unfortunately. So they're
Well,
two different things.
Okay,
right
because I
now.
was looking at I get my tasks from Kimbaloo, and the attached template is exactly the same, and the guidance is saying the OIOG of 12th grade, the class of 24 basically. So is it more than just the 12th graders for the one that's due July 19th? It's 9
Yes,
to
it should
12,
be
it says.
grade 9 to 12 students. I will check that epicenter task. I'm hoping that it was not incorrectly set up. Hold on.
Sorry, thank you. I thought I was done with my reporting, and now I'm a little bit like, oops, I must have missed one.
Yeah, no, the templates attached to those epicenter tasks are different. So
Okay, I'll
maybe
reach out to
ask
Kim.
him
Yeah.
if the template can be resent.
Okay, thank you.
And sorry about the additional collections. We're not super thrilled about it either. Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions.
Brandon,
Yes.
I had a quick question. I'm sorry, I don't know if I heard you. Did you say growth file for WIDA and SPEC maybe late July, late July?
Yeah, typically the NDE provides those in mid to late July. We don't really have we asked on the last NDE call, which was last week, and they didn't really want to give us any specific dates. But that's
Oh, yeah,
typically
we were
when
just,
they've done it in years past, mid to late July.
okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to stop the recording here. We'll send it out in the next few days or so. I think Mary and I will happy to stay on for another few minutes in case you have very specific questions. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, everyone. Brandon, apologies for being a few minutes late.